Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I'm not sure if this counts as pity or even revenge, since I've never met anyone so determined to dig themselves into a hole. It all started when I was picking up my daughter from school. I parked on a street with the driver's side of the car on the street side and the passenger side near the sidewalk. This is important. The kid I was picking up has her car seat behind the driver's seat, so I had to stand in the street to buckle her in. Then I opened the driver's door, got in, and reached for the door to close it. I had almost closed it. It was only a little ajar when a Honda Civic plowed into it so hard that the door sliced into the Civic's bumper. The other driver backed up until I could fully open my door again, and I saw the Civic was maybe 8 inches from my car. Who drives so close to parked cars? Usually I would just exchange information and that would be it, but the guy gets out and has a huge attitude. He starts lecturing me, saying that I need to look around before opening my door and that he had no time to react. LOL. If I had taken more time to get in, he would have hit me. He definitely could have avoided me. The street is not narrow and there is not even a sidewalk on the other side. Plenty of room. We start to exchange information and I think I smell alcohol on his breath. My husband soon arrived with our other daughter because I called and let him know what happened. The guy tries to give my husband the whole women drivers am I right spiel, and my husband verbally tears him a new one. My husband confirms he also smelled alcohol, so we call the cops. The other guy is super for it. He wants the cops called and wants to talk to them. Cool. My girls are running around the schoolyard as each of us gives our statements. Mine is pretty cut and dry. So soon, husband and I are just standing around while the cops talk to the driver of the Civic. Not long after, we overheard them fail the breathalyzer. So, he gets arrested, and I'm driving a rental until we see if my car can be fixed. Hey everyone, get ready for an exciting ride that I experienced recently. While shopping at Walmart, I was going about my business as usual when I had the strangest experience with a real-life Karen in a parking lot. You will not think what transpired. And so I was driving around the lot in my beat-up Honda trying to find a good place to park it. Now, parking lots at Walmart resemble the Wild West, don't they? You can never predict what will occur. By coincidence, I noticed a location near the entrance and thought, jackpot. But this woman, let's call her Karen with a capital K, is glaring at me as I'm ready to pull in. She's obstructing the parking space with a cart full of belongings, acting as though she owns the entire lot. I gently murmured, "Excuse me, ma'am," and waved at her. "I reckon I'm gonna park here." That, my friend, set Karen off like a 4th of July firecracker. She turns to face me, examining me closely as though I were something she had stepped on. "Pardon me? Could you please?" "Obviously, I was here first. You can locate another location." Listen, I'm not usually one to fight, but this was just absurd. In a parking lot, ma'am, there are neither lines nor dibs. I'm parking here since I saw the space here first. She crossed her arms in a huff, looking like a child who hasn't received the item they desired. "I insist that you locate another area. I own this one." It was unbelievable to me. Not the last slice of pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving, but a parking space is what we were discussing. I choose to remain calm. You see, I'm not going to argue with you. This is where I am parking. End of story. When I begin to drive into the area, Karen loses it. She lets out a loud scream, creating a commotion that directs people's attention towards us. "This is completely ridiculous. Somebody contact the manager. I call for justice." Thinking this woman was crazy, I shook my head, but this was only the beginning, folks. Karen approaches me as I'm getting out of my car, phone in hand, as if she is requesting an airstrike. "I will bring you before the manager. This is not how you merely take someone else's place." I chuckled slightly, thinking she was playing a bluff. "Alright, ma'am, I'll be indoors taking care of business and getting groceries." I had no idea that Karen wasn't playing tricks. I walk inside Walmart believing everything will be resolved. No, not in a million years though. As I'm choosing between Fruit Loops and Cheerios in a cereal aisle, The manager, Dave, a kind man, touches me on the shoulder. "Excuse me, sir. Are you the one who had an incident in the parking lot just now?" I wonder how the hell things got so serious as I scratch my head. Yes, that was me. Why all the commotion though? Dave apologizes as he stares at me. Karen says you took her parking space, and she's calling for justice now. We should ban you from the store, she demands. My ears were unbelievable to me. Walmart bans you for parking in an empty space? This was just ridiculous. You're familiar with me, Dave. I've spent years here shopping. I'm not taking anyone else's place. Why can't we just agree to this and go on, okay? With a sigh, Dave expressed how unhappy he was to be entangled in this mess. I'll speak with Karen to try to resolve this. Please try to remain polite. I given up believing that this was the most absurd event that have ever occurred in a Walmart. Half expecting Karen to show up with a squad of enraged shoppers ready to run me out of town, I returned to my shopping. However, as I arrived to the checkpoint, things started to go strange. Karen was grinning broadly, as if she had won the lotto. "You'll pay for what you did, stealing my spot like that." I laughed, believing her to be insane. "I just want to buy my groceries and head home, lady. Shall we end it there?" She refused to back down, shaking her head. "No, I've already made a police call. They will come in to arrest you for stealing shortly." I almost knocked over my gallon of milk. Get arrested for leaving your car unattended? Was this woman truly real? Indeed, the police arrived shortly after. I was approached by Officer Daniels, a tough guy with a big mustache. "Are you the one causing a ruckus over a parking spot?" I let out a sigh, recognizing that this was getting ridiculous. "I parked in a vacant spot, officer. It wasn't anything I stole. Can't we resolve this amicably without causing a stir?" With a raised eyebrow, Officer Daniels expressed his dissatisfaction with the circumstances. "I'll need you both to come outside and explain what happened." Karen and I were standing in a Walmart parking lot, acting as though we were going to engage in a high-noon battle. Officer Daniels seems like he'd rather be handling a cat stuck in a tree as he listens to both of us. He listens to us and then shakes his head. "This is absurd. It's not illegal to park in an empty lot. Ma'am, I ask that you save us your time from pointless chatter and allow folks to park in peace, okay?" Karen was furious. "But he took my place, officer. You must take action." Officer Daniels refused to accept it. "Madam, I would like you to continue with your day and let this gentleman do his shopping. We need to address actual crimes here." Karen yells after him as he leaves. "I'm not letting this go. This is something that you will regret." Thinking that this was the most ridiculous day of my life, I shook my head. I had no idea, though, that things were going to grow even stranger. After completing my grocery shopping, I pay and return to the parking lot. As I'm opening my car door, I notice Karen conversing with a fellow police officer. She's pointing at me as though I'm a wanted felon. Thinking she's only trying to keep her dignity intact, I shake my head. But just as I'm opening my car, I'm approached by Officer Daniels once more. "Sir, I hate to bother you, but Karen insists on pressing charges for theft." I'm in disbelief. "Larceny? Officer, let's talk about this parking space." Clearly annoyed, he nods. "I apologize for the inconvenience, I understand. However, I am required by law to record her comments and submit a report. You must report to the station so that you can be questioned." I sit in a little room at the police station wondering how I made it from grocery shopping to questioning. As he questioned me, Officer Daniels is making an effort to maintain his composure. "Did you at any point intentionally steal the parking spot from Karen?" I scoff. "I didn't, officer. I parked in a vacant space. She's merely angry because she didn't get her wish." He gives me a resounding nod. I recognize. I'll try to finish this up as soon as possible. Right now, it's simply a formality. I had no idea that Karen would not give up so easily. She's screaming in the adjacent room about how I screwed up her day and how she got cheated out of her parking space. Officer Daniels returns after what seems like an eternity and says to me, "You may leave now, sir. Karen will have to accept our conclusion that the charges are without merit. I regret any inconvenience this has caused you." I nod, glad that this insanity is over. Groceries in hand, I make my way home, while still trying to process the reality that I nearly got arrested at Walmart for parking in an empty place. Though the story doesn't end there. Oh, it gets even more bizarre. I receive a letter in the mail a few days later. As it happens, Karen took the matter to a new level. She accused me of stealing and claimed to be in serious emotional distress. According to the letter she filed with the police, this woman's arrogance is beyond me. I have a court date scheduled and have to deal with the legal system. My charges are more serious and I am very concerned about the possible repercussions. As the trial progresses, my attorney deftly refutes Karen's unfounded allegations. The judge saw through the charade and is less patient as before. When Karen is asked to testify, people are skeptical of her theatrical performance. The pivotal moment occurs when my attorney provides proof that refute Karen's assertions. Witnesses say that her emotional turmoil appeared more like a performance than real suffering. And Walmart security tape demonstrates that I did not steal her parking space. Karen's attempt to abuse the judicial system is clearly noticed by the court, who decides to take action. Ms. Karen, you have squandered the court's time with your false accusations, and you have tried to damage this man's reputation. The judge states firmly, I declare you to be guilty of trying to mislead the court and filing a false police report. The judge goes on, I hereby issue a warrant for your arrest. And Karen's face just goes pale. Please take Miss Karen into custody, officer. Karen is accompanied by the officer who have been in the courtroom to her arrest. She fiercely objects, but it's obvious that her behavior has caught up with her. This court will not tolerate the misuse of the legal system for personal vendettas. The judge declares that she is led out of the court in handcuffs. I hope that everyone involved will learn from this, as the allegations against the defendant are dropped. I exhale with relief as I exit the courthouse, glad that everything turned out okay. Regarding Karen, she now needs to appear in court and deal with the fallout from her foolish decision to file a criminal complaint over a parking lot disagreement. I have 2 kids, 11 male and 9 female. My sister-in-law has a service dog who has been with her for about 6 months now. He's 18 months. It was my son's birthday party last weekend, which she was at, and obviously had a whole ton of young boys running right around my house. My daughter also had 2 friends over, younger siblings of the boys, as well as our pet. All in all, there were 9 children, 3 dogs and a cat causing chaos. At one point, one of our rabbits escaped and was running around too. My sister-in-law's dog couldn't cope. He was so excited and wasn't paying any attention to her. My daughter and her friend said hi to him, but otherwise left him alone. He was losing it the whole time and my sister-in-law had to leave. My son was a little upset, but overall didn't mind. Just asked that she could come over for a mini birthday. Yesterday was that mini birthday. It was much quieter, just the family, and the dog was still losing it. He was jumping around and she wasn't able to control him. He had a flare-up, which he ignored. She got quite frustrated and asked my children to leave the room. They did and he finally calmed down. They came back in and he got excited again. The kids weren't comfortable, so they went to play and we had a conversation. I basically said if she can't control him, I don't want him in my house. She replied that he's a service dog and goes everywhere with her, so I'd essentially be banning her. I said that he was a bad service dog as he'd ignored her flare-up and wouldn't listen. He then blamed my kids, saying my daughter had got him excited last time and now he thinks that kids mean playtime. I told her that if her service dog can't ignore children while working, he's not really a service dog. She got upset and left, saying she was uncomfortable with me. Later on, my husband pulled me aside and asked me to apologize because I'd hurt her feelings. I said I didn't think an apology would be worth it because I am not sorry and I meant what I said. He told me he understood but that it's a witchy move to not even try to apologize. She then texted me and said that he had a situation with a child when he was in training, but she is paying out money to get him retrained. I don't know what the situation is, but I do feel bad. I think she was trying to use my kids to socialize him and it hasn't worked and I feel much worse. I haven't yet responded because I do still somewhat stand by what I said, but I also feel awful about making her feel so insecure. Am I the jerk here? And now with some comments on the post. Someone saying you're not the jerk. You're absolutely right. It's not a service dog. They are extensively trained and extremely expensive. It sounds like she got a dog and someone trained it and is calling it a service dog. 18 months old sounds kinda young also. Another commenter adds, if her dog is so freaked out around kids that he ignores her flare-ups and her, he needs a lot more training and frankly to stay away from kids for a while. The dog is a lousy service dog right now. He's not doing his job at all. 18 months old is very young to be a service dog too, barely out of puppyhood. What breed is he? My husband had 2 Labrador guide dogs and they are not ready till at least 2 years old. Not the jerk. A third commenter goes with, not the jerk. There is a problem with the dog. A properly trained service dog shouldn't react like that. If the kids upset the dog should be retrained or released from its responsibilities.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.